G'day, nerds.
Hi.
Hey, you're my nerd, aren't you? You and Max. This is Max. Say hi, Max.
Hi.
I meant to say hi, Max.
Hi, Max.
All right. You're going to learn about data. Okay, so the two
What's
types.
data?
Well, that's what we're about to learn. There are two types of data. There is discrete and continuous data. There's also qualitative data, but we'll get to that in a second. So, our learning goal is by the end of this, you want to be able to tell me what the different types of data are. Whether you've got quantitative continuous, qualitative, or quantitative discrete. So, do you know any of those words mean?
No.
What do you think quantity means?
No idea.
No idea. Well, by the end, you might. Okay, here's your vocabulary. If I can get you to pause the video here, and we'll continue on when you've got these to refer back to as we go through the lesson. All right, sweet. You paused it. Now, I want to point out one thing. I think it's fact of the day. We all know the word data, right? Like, we've all heard this a bunch of times. Have you heard the word data?
Once.
Once, okay. Well, that once that you've heard data, that would be a datum. Datum is the singular of data. So if I collected all of you and your friends' heights, okay, would you be the shortest or the tallest?
Shortest.
Yep. If I collected all of your heights, it would be... No, don't touch that. If I collected all of your heights, everyone else's, all together would be data, but one height in particular, just one measurement, would be a datum. So, datum is singular, data is plural, and I'm going to kick you out in a minute. You're the worst little gap-toothed monkey. All right, Maxie's going away now. No, you're going to stick? All right, behave then. Okay, so a data is a whatever. Data is plural, and that's pretty cool. So when we use the word datum, we can say is. When we say data, we say are. All right. So, data. Maxie, what's on the screen?
A flower.
Is it a cool flower?
Well, it's done by technology, so no.
What was that? Anyway, you nerd. Okay, so this flower, we can tell lots of things about it. We have lots of data about the flower. For example, it has 6 petals. The petals are yellow. The flower is 13 centimeters high. It's about as tall as you are. Its leaves are dark green, and the plant has 2 leaves. Okay, so...
What do you mean I'm 13 centimeters?
I'm joking. Just stick with me, buddy. Okay, so... Data and information that we collect in our experiments, or any bits of information you have about something, are data. Data can be quantitative. Now, quantitative means numerical, numbers. Okay, so counts. So if you count things, if you measure things, that's quantitative data. Data can also be qualitative. That's stuff that we write, describe. You going away? Are you sticking? Cool. Okay, so descriptive stuff, observations. Now, so remember, quantitative has numbers. Flower has 6 petals. Is that quantitative or qualitative?
Quantitative.
Good boy. The ones that doesn't have numbers, the descriptives, are called qualitative. The petals are yellow. Is that quantitative or qualitative?
Quantitative.
It's got no numbers. Do you remember the other word?
No.
It's qualitative. That's okay. You're learning.
I said qualitative.
You said quantitative. All right, say qualitative. I'll edit it in so you didn't make a mistake.
Qualitative.
I'm not editing that. So, we can turn some qualitative data into quantitative data. We can quantify it. And the way you do it, so if I asked you a survey, I was like, Max, are you happy, medium, or unhappy? Quick. Which one? I'll ask you another one.
Don't know.
Are you enjoying making the video, or are you not enjoying making the video?
Enjoying.
Okay, so I could give that a number 1. I could give not enjoying a 2. And I collect all the data from all the different people, and we can do a little graph. You've seen graphs, haven't you?
Yeah.
You done graphs at school? Okay. So, discrete data. Discrete data is one type of quantitative data. Here we have 3 flowers, and we have 9 days, it says it right there. We have 9 days marked off on the calendar. So discrete means that there's separations between the items. You can have day 1 or day 2, but you can't have day 1.5, can you? Because they're separate days, they're separate things. So discrete data are integers. Integers is another word for counting number. Okay.
What are those?
Counting numbers, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so they're numbers with no in-between values. They're distinct and they're separate. Okay, so you can have 1 flower or 2 flower. You can't have 1.5 flowers. Does that make sense? Nice. Okay, doing well. You're doing good science, buddy. Discrete data or digital. This just means it's one or the next one. There's no in between. And if something is counted or tallied, if something's counted or tallied, then it becomes discrete data. Maxi, how many Bakugan do you have?
1.
That's a count, isn't it?
Yes.
That's a discrete data. Good boy. Have your Bakugan back. Okay. So, when we graph discrete data, it's really interesting. We can use several types of graphs. We can use histograms, line graphs, column charts. We can't use scatter plots. So with the graphs we've got here, the plots, which is where we point the graph, are scattered according to their name, which is on the x-axis, and the count, so how many of them there are, on the y-axis. Scatter plots themselves, though, are not done with discrete data. So here on Monday, we have more of something than we did on Tuesday. All right. So let's look at continuous data. This is my favorite. Continuous data are where the values can be any value within that set of values. For example, temperature here can be 27, it can be 27.4, 27.3, it can be anywhere within that range. Data exists on a spectrum, and they're not clear, distinct values. Does that make any sense to you?
No.
No, that's okay. That's all right. Because you're in year 2. So
Do you expect me to know these things?
No, I'm asking because you're in year 2. So these kids are, these are high school. So, sorry, stop moving, stop kicking the thing. Like, don't. I'll kick you out. I love you. You're just a troublemaker. Okay. So data here are analog. That means it can exist between. Hang on, let's get a pause. All right, Max. I think you've reached your limit. You're booted off. That's good. All right, he's gone. So basically, continuous data can be anywhere on a spectrum, right? They're like 1, 2, 3, 4, but you can also be 1.1, 1.2. And it's within that range. And when we say it's analog, what we mean is the needle here for kilometers per hour can be anywhere within that range. It's not either an on or an off thing the way a digital thing is. Continuous data, though, are measurements. So things we measure, right? Like we don't count temperatures, we measure temperatures. We don't count pH, we measure pH. We don't count our speed, we measure our speed. Continuous data are measurements, and that's what allows it to exist within a set. So when we want to graph it, though, look, there are many types of graphs we can use, but particularly in a school science class, when we talk about continuous graphs, we're usually talking about scatter plots. And that's this one here. This is my favorite graph. So we work out what our value is on the x-axis. That's our independent variable. And then we work out what our value is on the y-axis, our dependent variable. And so we find here on the x, and then we move up and we put a little cross. And then we do this for all the different ones. And then we draw a line of best fit. And it's just cool. It shows trends really well. So these are the graphs where plots are scattered according to the coordinates on the x, the independent variable on the y, which I said. And then we put a line of best fit, or a curve of best fit if that's the best. Histograms, line graphs, column charts, they're possible. In fact, they're completely doable, but they're just much less common with continuous data. What we usually have to put arbitrary lines in the middle to split them up for column graphs and that sort of thing. So scatter plot's your best friend here. Anyway, I hope that made a lot of sense. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. We'll get back to you as quick as we can. Thanks for watching. Bye now.